Boys and girls, I am excited about this other lesson that we're going to work on. It is based on an artist called Romero Britto. He is from Brazil and he came later in his life to the United States and became really famous. I really like him because he is a contemporary artist, which means that he's still alive and working. And his artwork is really fun. And it's really happy and full of colors and bold patterns and contrasts. So we're going to be making portraits. So imagine yourself, a boy or girl, in a Romero Britto style. So Romero Britto takes a lot of his inspiration not only from pop art, which brings us with the bold colors and the patterns, but also from Picasso and Matisse, which are two really famous artists. So I'm going to show you a couple things from him. Now, first of all, this is a picture of him. So here he is, Romero Britto, with all his patterns in the letters of his name. Now, here is a portrait of himself that he did. And here's where you'll see all the different patterns that he uses. And the Picasso style of painting is where you see the face divided in two, and also patterns, like all the bold patterns. This comes from the pop art movement. Another one here, which is I think one of my favorites, is the girl with the hair blowing in the wind. So I will show you to make something similar to this, and I absolutely love the movement. And also we will be talking about cool colors and warm colors. So in this case, the hair is all cool colors, and then the background is predominantly warm colors, so that we can have contrast. Otherwise, it gets too busy and we don't see anything. Another example, good example for warm colors is this one here. So in this case, she's got the hair, oranges, yellows, reds. It's basically all warm colors. I also love the expression. So I'm going to call it happy eyes, sleepy eyes. Really simple and bold. Now you can use larger patterns or smaller patterns. Now these patterns here, they might have been done by computer, but we will be using just regular crayons or pencils, and again, you do the artwork with whatever you have at home. And the most important thing is we look at these pictures for inspiration, but in the end it's really important that you just do whatever is feels right to you. So I like to show this one because of the hairstyle. So you can have braids, you can have hair flowing, also lots of detail in the outfits, patterns, colors. So I think we have enough input right now to get started. Alright, boys and girls, I'm ready to start my first Romero Britto portrait. This one will be the one of a girl, and then I will show you how to make a boy's portrait. Now this one I'm going to show you how to make it more in a cubist style, kind of a little bit like Picasso. So it will have many more angles in the features. I'm going to start with the face. So instead of being round here, it will have an angle like that, and maybe right here comes back up, and again here. So you would not have these straight lines if you were to do a more traditional portrait. I really like Romero Britto's style of sleepy eyes. So I'm going to add my sleepy eyes here, and then I'm going to add half of a face, so something that will separate here which will be, it starts on the side of the face, and it's kind of like where your eyebrow would be. And here will be my nose, and I'm going to do kind of a cubist nose like this. Comes back down, and right here I'm going to stop to add mouth. So you could do just a smile, or you can add a little bit more. So this one has a little bit bigger smile. Then it comes back down here, and I'm going to add my eyebrows again. These are different shapes, and I'm going to incorporate this one in here. It's kind of a big arch right there. Now Romero Britto also adds some elements inside the face, like hearts and swirls, which are super cool. And don't forget your ears. If you have ears, I'm going to do one just on one side, and we're going to continue with neck. So neck is really straight, again cubist style, and instead of doing a straight line, I wanted to make a curved line, so it's a little bit more 3D. And I'm going to add some soft shoulders, so it comes like that. And I'm going to work on the flowing hair. So right here, there, imagine that there is a lot of wind. So again, when you make yours, you could do any hairstyle. These are just examples. And I find that your ideas are always the best. And I am always inspired by all the things that you end up doing. So now I want to make sure that it continues, the flow continues here. So I'm going to take this line and continue right here. I'm going to take this line and it's already here. And this one here will, so you jump over the face. Cool, and I'm going to add another one here. Now in the back I will have some lines that will be later on filled with patterns once I go to Sharpie. So I feel that I don't have to do them in the pencil stage. Then I'm going to add details for the shirt, like that. Just divisions, and then we will add more once we Sharpie. So let's go to the next stage. So I finished sharpening my portrait, and if you noticed, I added a lot of different patterns. So when you add your patterns in your hair, for instance, if it's a flowing hair, I am going to repeat my patterns. I used 3 patterns, which is heart, stripe, and dots or circles. So I repeated them, throughout on either side. And then on the backgrounds, I also used large patterns, because when we start coloring, it's going to be much easier than if you had very small patterns. So for coloring, I am going to be using some oil pastels. These are water-soluble oil pastels, but you can use anything that you have. Again, you could use pencils, you could use crayons, you could use markers. So just think about whatever you have at home, and what we're going to do is separate them by cool colors and warm colors. It's really important. So for instance, my hair will be cool colors, and maybe this part will be warm colors. So I want to have contrast. Otherwise, if I make everything cool colors, or if I mix all the colors together, it's going to be really busy. As it is, it's really busy with so many patterns. So I'm going to get all my cool colors, which are all the greens and the blues. I even have a purple here, that would be a cool color. Here's another really pretty green, and another blue right here. And then my warm colors will be, I would start with yellow, orange, reds. Here's a different shade of orange reds. Here's a different shade of orange, brighter orange. We also have pink and purple. And let me see, this one I think is black. I am not going to be using black because the black will be the outline and it makes it pop. So before you start, always test your colors. Now these ones I really like because the tip is, you know, it is bigger than a regular oil pastel, so it goes faster. So I'm going to go around, and again I'm going to do this in cool colors, and then this part in, I'll say, warm colors in the background. Now if I have smaller details, I might be using pencils. Ready to add water. So if you used water-soluble oil pastels, which is what I used, and I also used watercolor pencils, then you can add water. Otherwise, if you use just regular pencils or regular crayons, I guess you can skip this step. But if you're adding water, always remember to add water with the same color one at a time. So instead of just going like this, it would become a huge blur. You want to do just each color one color at a time. It makes a huge difference. So right now I'm just going to do all my pinks, and then all, you know, as soon as I'm done with my pink, so I just go over. And what this does is really brings out the colors, makes them much brighter. And I clean my brush, and then I go to the next color. I'm going to show you now how to make a boy version of our Romero Britto portraits. Now this one I'm going to make it with a less angular face, so you can have an option, and he will also have his eyes open. So I'm going to start as we usually do with our regular portraits, so it's kind of a U shape for the face. But I will add, coming from the left side, this part here, which will be the nose. But before I do that, I will add my eyes. I always start with sleepy eyes, and then I'm going to add the eyelid, and this one turned out a little bit crooked. Good thing we have erasers. Go like this, and then inside I'm gonna have actually a little bit of an eyelid here, and my eyes. So try to draw your circles about the same. So So a little bit bigger. I will draw my pupil. Draw my pupil right now. And now I am ready to add the nose. So the nose and the eyebrows. So let's say that I have an eyebrow right here. Again, I'm going to make them kind of cubist eyebrows. So this is slightly more realistic than the other one, but we are adding the curve here in the center. Now my nose is going to be also a little bit more realistic. And here's my other nostrils. And then I add a line in the center here. But before I do that, I am going to add my lips. So start with a smile. You could be just a smile, but if you'd like to add an upper lip, and here's a lip like this. And if you wanted to open the mouth, then you would go something like this. So I'm gonna make this lip a little bit wider. Maybe something like that. And here I have a line that comes right in the middle. So we can have each side of the face a different color. I can add, actually let's do the hairline. So the hairline is not all the way at the top of the head. It's just where the hair starts on your forehead. And I'm going to add some ears on the side. And then I'm going to add, this goes all the way to the top. Now I do want to add some patterns here too. So here's going to be another wedge for patterns, and maybe another wedge here for different patterns. So you can play with that. See, now you could either also, you could do kind of crazy hair, you know, spiky hair. And I'm going to add neck and shoulders. So neck and shoulders will be, this time again, regular, so not cubist. And here's my shirt, so maybe it's a t-shirt. And in the background I'm going to add a few lines so I can add patterns in a little bit. So these are just, for now, these are just sections. And when I Sharpie, I will add my patterns. Now in the face area, if you wanted to do Romero Britto like, you can add a circle, you can add a heart or not. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. Done coloring my Romero Britto portrait using pencils and water-soluble oil pastels. So I'm going to show you, if you used these materials, when you add water, your colors will become much brighter. So now when you do that, try to stay with the same colors. So what you don't want to do again is just put water everywhere. You're going to do it color by color. I'm going to start with my skin tones first. Now these ones were done using water-soluble pencils. And these are amazing because you don't have to add water. You can use them with water or without water. And they're great because you can layer. On this side of the face, I used light brown and a skin tone. to have a little bit of a different shade of skin tone. So I'm going to continue right here. You want to don't forget your eyelids all the way to the edge. And then I'm going to go to the other side. The other side has a little bit more orange. So I layered first the skin tone as a base, and then I added a little bit more of an orange pencil, so that we have a different, just more contrast. And again, this is in keeping with the cubist look of having one side of the face one color, the other a different color. Again, you can decide, always make your decisions on what is best, what would look best for your own drawing. Now the neck I did with the same color, so I'm going to continue right here. And then I will just do each section at a time. So I'll do all the same, the same, if it's the same orange, I'll do the same orange. And I'll go one at a time. And every time I change to a different section that has a different color, I go ahead and clean my brush.